This is a reading and commentary from Lila Holly, founder and creator of Camouflaged Sisters, Army veteran. Here's my story. I'm always ready to share my military experiences with anyone who will listen. I served for 22 years and I was blessed to live in and travel to some amazing places across the globe. Yes, there was an immeasurable amount of sacrifice involved with choosing a military career, but the good outweighed the bad, and I would choose to do it all over again. Hi, that's my beginning of me telling my story in our very first Camouflage Sisters book, revealing struggles of the Black woman's military experience. Like I said in the opening introduction, my name is Lila Holly. I am an Army veteran. I served 22 years in the U.S. Army, and now I have the wonderful pleasure of sharing the incredible, courageous stories of military women. During the month of March, for Women's History Month, you will learn more about our stories and hear why it's important for us as women to share our stories. Today, I'll be reading and sharing more of my story and the story of a fellow woman veteran. And the topic that I'll be talking about today is transition, military transition. This is my story as told in Camouflage Sisters, revealing struggles of the Black woman's military experience. Throughout my career, I learned so much about myself and feel I am better for the experience. During my 22 years, I saw and experienced a lot of change. I went from lower enlisted to NCO to warrant officer. I went from being a single mom to being married, dual military. I went from living in the continental United States to living in paradise in Hawaii, to being deployed to places like Bosnia, Iraq, and the Philippines. Yes, a lot of change, but through it all, one thing remained the same. I was a Black female in a white male-dominated career field. Though I was reminded of this fact every day, I did not allow it to limit me or stop me from setting big goals for myself and achieving those goals. I didn't allow it to make me compromise who I was as a person. So in our very first Camouflage Sisters book, we tell the stories of the Black woman's military experience. And the reason why I chose that as a topic is because I'm a Black woman and I served in the military. So, you know, women, we have to go through a lot of layers, and there's a lot that we deal with in our military service. So telling the story of Black women's experience in the military was definitely something that needed to be done. So I want to continue reading about my transition from the military. The subtitle of this piece is Triumph in Transition. My career was a continuous sequence of transitional events. I joined the military as a private second class and retired as a Chief Warrant Officer 4, transitioning through 8 rank promotions. I was a single mother of 1 child when I joined, and the mother of 2 children with an 18-year difference in age when I transitioned out. During my career, I was half of a dual military marriage and the sole military member in the family when I retired. During these transitions, the greatest lesson I learned was transitions are inevitable. So embrace them. I use these transitions as opportunities for personal growth while I embrace my professional growth. I was better prepared for the increased responsibility that came with the promotions as a result. Having a positive attitude is key. I was able to remain flexible when my career path didn't follow my plans. This was key during my last 6 years of military service, during which time I had to move my family 4 times. Even in my transition from the military to civilian life, I continue to learn. I believe I learned the greatest lesson of all. I learned who I was. I learned to function and excel in this male-dominated career and reach a significant level of success. But at what cost? In my transition from the military, I discovered being that calm under pressure leader came at a cost. When I was forced to process the emotions I encountered as a result of leaving the military, I discovered I had developed an unhealthy manner of processing my emotions that resulted from all the many transitions I encountered in my life. I think we can all agree that life transitions will bring about an emotional response. I know this to be true, but in the military, there was no time to dwell on the emotions of the transitions in my life. I had a job to do. There was no time to dwell on a breakup with a boyfriend. There was a mission to accomplish and no time to stress over this month's bill. I learned to suck it up and figure something out quickly. I only began to notice a struggle with my emotions when I transitioned out of the military. I became angry, easily agitated, and experienced difficulty communicating with loved ones. I had operated in a high-stress, testosterone-heavy environment for so long, I had developed these aggressive emotions and personality traits as a result of surviving in the military. They were not needed at such a high level of intensity in my transition out of the military. I'm a strong Black woman because of my military experiences. I accomplished things I really didn't know I could until I was faced with and conquered them. I now know that I don't have to be overly aggressive towards others and in a constant competition with others, or prove my worth or speak loudly to make an impact, unless, of course, the situation warrants. So I share that with you just to share a little bit of my transition experiences. Everybody's transition is going to look different. But the main thing that helped me in my transition was to be honest about the emotions that I was struggling with. And writing this book was really therapeutic for me. And I've received so much positive feedback from other women who have experienced some of the similar struggles, some of the same experiences, some of the same things that they realized about themselves. Again, I'm going to say everybody's experience transition is going to be different. And like I said in the book, life is a continuous sequence of transitions. So we have to embrace our military transition the same way, expecting high emotions, expecting, some type of emotional response to that transition. Now I want to transition to another book and another transition story from one of my other co-authors. I want to transition to our third book, Behind the Rank, Volume 1. So in this book, we have 29 co-authors, and they share some incredible stories. I want to share with you the story of my co-author, Sharon Finney. Her chapter is titled A Mommy's Military Journal, A Mommy's Military Journey. And this is her story of transition. After high school, I attended college and joined the Army as an officer. I soon learned that I was expecting my first child, so I made plans to leave the military. It wasn't a perfect plan by any stretch of the imagination, but I knew I wouldn't do well actively serving and parenting, or so I thought. I just want to pause here again and mention that everyone's transition journey is different. Okay? You will know when your time transition comes Now, some people, granted, will not be in control of when they transition, those who are experiencing medical board or different situations in their career that require them to be involuntarily separated from the military. But if you are in a situation where you can control when you transition, the choice is really yours. It's up to you. You will know it's your own individual decision, and you will know when it's time for you to transition. Don't let anyone make you feel guilty about leaving the military for the sake of parenting or anything else going on in your life. The choice is up to you. You will know it in your heart when it's time to leave the military. So make the choice for yourself. And again, remember, everybody's transition journey is different. Let's get back to Sharon's story. In this part of her story, the subtitle is Hard Decision. After 9/11, I became a single mom who had 3 kids and was preparing for deployment. By the grace of God, I secured arrangements and my children quickly settled into their temporary home. They had the love and support of aunts, uncles, godparents, grandparents, and family friends. I left my minivan and more clothes and toys than 3 kids could ever use. But in the hustle and bustle, I experienced stress on another level. I gained 20 pounds in less than 2 months, not from unhealthy eating, but just from being overwhelmed. I thought I was handling my affairs well, but another story was unfolding. Stress, depression, and frustration are a few of the symptoms I experienced in the months leading up to and after the deployment, which was very different from my Desert Storm days. I did my job effectively and efficiently, but when duty hours ended, I was forced to face my internal pain and anguish. I wish I could erase how I masked the pain, but I guess it is all part of my story. I requested leave at the 4-month point because I desperately wanted to see my precious angels. They showed up at the airport expecting to pick up a family friend, but learned it was Mommy. My voice cracked as I called out to them. I grabbed my daughter and fell to the floor as the boys rushed towards us for a group hug. Within hours of being stateside, I knew their routine and was able to plan our week. I grinned constantly, observing the obvious changes in their smiles and voices. The next day, I visited their school. I wanted to see and do it all, but my heart was broken when my baby girl's teacher said, "We have never seen how beautiful her smile is until now." Deployed mommy guilt took over as our time together began to tick away. I just got here, I thought. I already had to prepare to go back. In my mind, I wondered, why did I do this to us? When our reunion ended, we had lunch together at the airport. Nothing could prepare me for the coming moments. As my son stood by my side saying, "Bye, Mommy," I felt so proud. But then I noticed my baby girl in her uncle's arms, with her head on his left shoulder. She would not look my direction, nor would she say a word. If my brother said anything, it was a blur because I was just as sad as my devastated child. By this point, my heart felt like it was broken into a million pieces. The cracking of my voice returned, but this time it was out of pain, not joy. I kept saying, "I love you guys. I'll be back soon." I didn't know when I'd be back, but it was the thing to say. Tears poured from my eyes as somebody guided me to my seat on the plane. Blinded by tears and overcome with sadness, I confirmed in flight the need to hang up my boots for good. Admittedly, it was nice to wear my rank, And of course, I felt a complete sense of pride being able to provide for my children the way I wanted to. But I knew another activation of my unit would be unbearable. There was no way I could leave again. I needed the Lord to make a way for us. I returned from the deployment 6 weeks later, just in time to spend Thanksgiving with my family. By January, my paperwork was submitted to become an inactive reservist. I had no service obligation, so this process was a lot smoother than anticipated. I remained inactive for another year and then received my honorable discharge from the U.S. Army. By that time, I was established in a civilian assignment with a comparable salary. Without judgment, I salute my military sisters who are moms dealing with deployments. Some remain by choice, while others are there feeling there are no other options. For me, staying seemed impossible. I did what I could do for as long as I could. I am in a different place now, and much to my surprise, all three of my precious angels know firsthand what it means to support and defend. Again, I say everybody's transition journey is different, and your reasons for transitioning, only you will know that. The last thing I want to leave you with, women, especially my sisters in arms who are serving or who have served, or maybe you're in the midst of transitioning from the military yourself. One thing that really helped me when I transitioned out of the military, I learned to embrace who I was as a result of my military service. The strong woman that I became, even in my vulnerable moments, even with all my flaws, I embraced who she is, and I love her. So I would invite you to embrace the woman you are as a result of your military service. Take a look at all the skills that you were able to master. Take a look at all the success that you experienced. The woman that it turned you into. Embrace her. Love on her. Be proud of her. Because we are part of the few minority that take this journey in the military choosing the military as a career. I say that to say that transition may be tough. There may be some high emotional moments and there may be some low emotional moments, but you can make it through. I encourage you to pick up one of these books and read these stories to encourage you. You can visit our website, www.camouflagedsisters.org, for more information and to order the books. But connect with some women who understand what you're going through. If you're struggling, we are here for you. A whole sisterhood awaits you. So connect with us. I hope you enjoyed this reading and my additional commentary. And I do hope that you pick up these books for encouragement and inspiration.